Welcome here. In this tutorial video, I'll show you 4 ways how to set up your HUD for things like your health, stamina, mana, experience or whichever info you want to represent. So if you're looking for a way to copy the Zelda hearts, the Mega Man side health bars or regular health bar, I have you covered. As an extra, I will show you how to make this neat effect of a double bar where one bar catches up to another one, which you see and a lot of times in fighting games like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. This is OneUp Indie. I am the developer of the indie game Clunky and a programmer / pixel artist. So if you are new here and you want more, consider subscribing to my channel because I upload every 2 days a video. So let's get right into it. As you can see on the screen, we have different kinds of representations of your health. The top one is like the Zelda one, the left one is almost like Mega Man because it's a little bit cheated here. This is just basically a bar which is being stretched, so this is a percentage value and not something like this, because for example this one is just based on things you put in together to make one global thing, and I just show you what I mean by that. So the first thing we can set up is a controller, so I can show you what it does very quickly. It basically just checks if our draw HUD, and this is the object we will be manipulating and dabbling with, this is there, and then we just increase or decrease the HP of it, and that's it. So this is just for you, you can see, so you can check what this thing does. The other thing is the camera. Actually I don't really need it, but well, it's just in there, why not? So how does the whole thing work? First of all, we need 2 kinds of values, which is the HP and the HP max. We want to go from a 0 value up to a specific value which we don't want to go over with, because it wouldn't make sense to give infinite health, because then health would be pointless. And that we do clamp in the step event, which we do here. This is just a fallback, so you can see if the HP is less than 0, we just go for a 0 value, and if it is over the HP max value, we just clamp it to the max value on the total, so it won't go out. Well, so how do we do the first kind of thing? We just delete the whole part here, and we do it step by step. So the first part is just to draw the hearts. That we just do with the draw sprite. So as you can see, I already copy pasted that, and it just says, alright, I just want to have my SPR heart, and here I delete that one because that we need later on, and we just go for values of, let's say, 50 and 50, so it just goes into the room, and there it goes 50 to the right, 50 down, and then it starts here. And the other thing, this is just the X and Y scale, and that you can, for example, change if you like. So for example, if you would start it, hopefully I didn't destroy it completely, we just draw one sprite. This is just the health. Alright, so we have 1. But what if you want to go for more than 1? Well, in that case, we simply do a loop, and our loop looks like this. And we go for our HP value for now, because the full heart is something else, but you don't have to worry about that. So basically, if we have an HP of 5, we would be drawing 5 of those hearts. And how do we do that? Well, basically we just go into our X value, because we want to go from one heart, and the other one we want it to be a little bit off the first one. That we do with an extra value which we add. This is the I, so we just go, and every time the I is being increased, we just increase it by 90. And this is how the heart looks like. For now we are just drawing the first one here. So we're just drawing hearts, and then if we start it, it should already work. And as you can see, all the hearts are there. But for example, what if you want to do it Zelda like? So basically a heart is part of 4 hearts, which you could see in the image. You just have like 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and well, 4 if it's completely there. How could we do that? We just go for a value which I called full hearts, and that value we have to distinguish, and that we do with a little calculation. Basically, we just take our total value of hearts which we're having, let's say, I don't know, 9, so 1 is left over. We just do a modulo, and the modulo is basically just taking a division and just returning the rest value, not the division itself, but what is left over. So basically, if we take 9 and do modulo 4, we divide it by 4, then which would be left over is just 1, because we have 4, taking 4 again, and then we just leave it by 1. So we just go like 9 divided by 4 leaves 1, because you can take away 2 times the 4. This is how the modulo works, but you should be familiar with that. And that temp value we can take and take it away from the HP. So we have like our true HP which we want to show, so the hearts we want to show without the rest, and then divide it by 4. So for example, if I have 9 minus the 1, we just go for 8. Great, so we have, well, 2 full hearts. And then of course we want to have a second variable which I call partial heart index, and then it's just the rest value, and this can be like a 0, a 1, a 2 or 3. Because we don't want to have a 0 because this is full, we just go for 1 because it's index 1, index 2 and index 3, so it perfectly fits in here. So how can we draw that? We just ask, alright, do we want, is the heart index not 0, so the division wouldn't be like, the rest wouldn't be 0, so then we say, alright, let's draw our sprite, which we already have here. And then we just take as the index value, which is this one, and add it to our full hearts, because this is like 2, so we would go for 2. And the 90 is basically just like the distance between each heart, because my hearts are quite big, so you can see them on the screen. They're like really huge. But for your games, for example, I don't know, it should be a little bit smaller, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So don't wonder why the values are quite high here. So let's check it out if it does work. And it does. And we can of course play now with those values. I don't know, go for 13. And then it should work as well. And so on. So as you can see, this thing already works. The next thing is, for example, a thing which GameMaker already has in there. So here we go for region, just take it out because we don't want to see it now. And region. Come on, go away, I don't need you now. There we just go for a draw which GameMaker has you covered. So we go for, how's it called, draw, and it's called health bar. Here you need a few inputs, but I would just go over them quickly. Basically those kind of 4 values are the box which you want to put it in. So every rectangle has like x1, x2, and then y1, y2, and then you can spawn this rectangle if you like. The amount just says, okay, you have to have a value between 0 and 100. This is how it works. You cannot put any other thing in there. So for example, you cannot go for 0 value, minus values, or like something above 100. So this is like 0%, and this is like 100% if you want to have it like this. So you should adjust your health bar to these two, well, values, or the range between those two values. And the color, this is just the background color, so this is just go for a background color, and here we go for a black thing. I already have that filled in, so you don't have to. Of course, this is again quite a big thing. And now the amount is important because we do a little calculation. I will explain what it does. So we just round the value, take our HP, divide it by the maximum value which we are having. So it is a value between 1 and smaller than 1, and because we want to have between 0 and 100, we need to multiply it with 100. So this is how it looks like. And the other thing is again the black color. So this is the background color, so we just go for C black. So if there's nothing displayed and then the health bar is almost empty, you see an empty, how could you call it, a canvas or whatever? Well, something which is just in the background, which is black, and if you can ignore it later if you like. And then the minimal color, we just go for C red, and the max color C green. What does that do? These two things just give you, for example, if you go for a start value of green, and then the lower it gets, it goes into red. You can go, of course, for other kind of colors if you like, but this is just for demonstration, so understand what those three colors are: background, minimal value, maximum value, and then it will just be a color between those two depending how much this value here is. The next thing is the direction. We just go for 0, so it goes from left to right, and here it already tells you, where is it, what kind of direction you want to go, because this is a thing you can adjust here. And well, we just go from left to right, but you can change it depending on what you need it for. They show the back, so for example, if you say 0 here, you will show the black background. If you, for example, go for a 0 value, this is being ignored and you don't have a background value. But if you say 1, which is for true, then you do. And then you want to show a border, why not? The border would be like, if you see it here, a very, very faint black border which is going around that thing. So we can check out how this looks like. And as you can see, it works pretty much fine, and we can add and subtract, and it stays in the range. So this is the inbuilt GameMaker health bar. I don't really use it a lot, but this could be like helpful if you go for very, very small health bars which you want to give like small minions or creatures you want to hit. But besides that, well, there are definitely better ways to do that, and that we're gonna do now. So for now we go for another bar we want to draw, and I called it like the Mega Man bar, but this is not entirely true because we do something which Mega Man does not do in here. We have this nice, neat looking bar, but it's a full thing. In a Mega Man it would be just having like 1 piece, 2 pieces, and they just stack up until they are full, or depending how much you have, you would just have a stack on a few of them. This is just one big thing. So this is how you would do with a, let's say, a regular bar, going from the bottom upwards. And what you need to do here, which is quite important, you don't go with a default value which is top left, you just go from bottom left, because there it says, okay, this is a percentage value, which is just 1. So you start here, and if you just have 50%, it stops here, and so on. So how do we do that? Well, as again, I have prepared my things here, so you don't have to. First of all, we have a thing which is just surrounding it, and we just plant it into the room. There's nothing special about that, it's just there. And then we go for our bar which we want to use. This is the one I showed you, the green one. Of course, this is completely wrong. We don't need that. This is just for the sub image. What we need to have is a new variable which I call draw HP, and that we have to define as well because we didn't have that. Yep, we didn't have that. So how can we define that draw HP? We just go and do it in the step event if you like, but I just put it in here. And this just gives a percentage value. For example, if you go with HP through HP max, it just means, alright, do we have 1? If it's 1, you scale the Y scale to 1, and if it's lower, it just becomes smaller and then it doesn't draw the whole thing. So let's see if it does work. Yep, it does. As you can see, it goes down and goes up. And in a regular Mega Man game, it would be built a little bit different. But for example, if you have like a long, nice bar with a gradient, this is how, for example, you could do it here. And it does work quite good. So the last thing I want to show you is the last bar, which I'm gonna do for my upcoming game Mini Overlord, and that is how you actually would do the thing with, well, with a quite dynamic bar, and it stretches with the amount of HP you actually have. What do I mean by that? Well, basically we just have like a few sprites. This is a start and an end sprite, which is going to be drawn once at the start and at the end. And I'm just going to show you in a few seconds what it does mean. And then in between we go for another loop, this time with J, and in this loop we will just draw our sprite, which is this little one. So this is first of all just drawing sort of the canvas or the thing which is around it, and then inside we will draw our HP, which is just this little thing which is very small. And yeah, so basically we just draw our canvas, so to speak, over it. And now if we start it, it should show. Yep. And so what it does, we have first of all our canvas, which is having the start thing, the end thing, and here we just have a lot of little pieces which are just put together, and they seem to be like one thing, but they are not. So as you can see, we just go with the HP max to define it, and the HP max is just saying, alright, let's see and draw 25 of those in one line with a distance of 8, because it has a width of 8. And how do we do the rest? Well, this is quite easy. We go for another loop, which is drawing this time not the empty thing, but this time the filling, which is the red thing here, just the red bar. And we just go for another value in the loop and do basically the same as here, because it's on the same position. And now we check it out. As you can see, it does work. And the last thing I want to show you, and this is quite easy to pull off, is the following. So how can we do this? Well, it's depending now on what do we need. First of all, we need to have the Mega Man bar. Do we do it on Mega Man bar? Yeah, we'll do it first with the Mega Man bar. So we go in here and draw first our other bar, which is red, and on top of it we'll build our green bar, which is this one. So basically, if you would do the same thing, you wouldn't see it, but here we delete that, but that is stupid. We need a variable which I call follow HP mega. And how do we set up this one? Well, we just use a lerp function. So we have this little thing. Let's see if I have it. Yep, I already have it initialized. We just have it here once. And there we lerp. And what is actually happening? First of all, we just take the value, which is this one, lerp it, and lerp it between the HP which we are drawing. And because we want it not to draw one-to-one, because that they would overlap and you wouldn't see effect, you just give it a little delay. So basically it's just trying to catch up with the stuff which we are drawing, and then, well, as you will see now, it will try to catch up, but it's not fast enough. So for example, we go up, you don't see anything, but if you go down, as you can see, the red bar is coming down. And depending on the value which you are giving here for the lerp, it will fill up faster or slower, depending what you put in here. And almost the same thing we do for our bar which is going to the right side. We do another loop here, and we call it this time F. We draw this time our orange sprite under our, what is it? Is it a green sprite? No, a red sprite. And we just go on here. It's the same thing, but here we just use this HP follow variable, which we haven't defined, and do a lerp, but this time do it in the step event, but you can do it as you please, and give it a very slow follow. So it just lerps between the follow value and in the end to achieve HP value. And let's check it out. And it should all work. This is I know this. I hope I didn't confuse you too much, but this is how you, for example, you can set up these things, and well, this is how it basically works. There's no magic here. It's pretty easy once you do it 1 or 2 times. Yep. So that was it. Have a good one. One up indie.